It's a tripod.
You saw
It's gonna go wrong.
I have some of you second time today, and some of you are new. So I had some of, and I know a couple of you. I said the place has been quiet since Lydia left, because we had Lydia for a couple of months. I said Grace was the noisy one. And now we got Andrew. So I heard a little chuckle there. Go easy on Andrew. So I've been. Ron had asked me to come and speak on appreciation. So I have. I thought that was an interesting request, and then as I sort of thought about it, I thought that there's a lot to be said about it. So we're going to spend as much time as allows here. What time do you normally finish? This will be a test.
This one ends at 5.
Five?
I think 5.
Yeah, all right, sounds good. I can get on the 465 and head home, but hopefully that you'll be blessed by this. I'm going to make it a little bit interactive. What's that?
I know how you feel.
Oh, what, 465?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite side of town. Like,
Yep.
for apprentices that come over to our place, they have to be on the opposite side of town, but now this time I get to be on the opposite side, but it's all right.
I live 7 minutes away.
What's that?
I only live 7 minutes away. So
Oh, that's right, you actually work close, that's right, but I keep thinking about, you have to come here on Friday, so. But, so I decided to call this the lost art of appreciation. I want to kind of make it practical. I'm going to break you up pretty quick into some small groups. We'll figure out kind of what the right number is, because I have a couple of exercises that I want to do during the course of this. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dave Holly. I'm with a ministry called Truth at Work. Had a chance to be with a few of you in the entrepreneurship class, so I had a long career in business, and mostly running a technology company was most of it, but then ended up in Truth at Work, where we focus on really challenging Christian business owners to live out their faith in and through their business. And so I've been privileged of doing that now for 3 years. So that's a little bit of my story. I spoke here about a year and a half ago. I don't even remember what I spoke about, but I was here about a year and a half ago, and had an opportunity to speak, and I told Ron I'd always do it anytime he wanted. So he took me up on it. So today he wanted me to do it twice. So what do you think of when you think of appreciation? Give me some definitions.
Going out of your way to show someone that you care, appreciate them.
All right, going out of your way.
Adding or gaining value.
Adding or gaining value.
Showing gratitude.
Showing gratitude.
Giving praise or a compliment.
Praise or a compliment. Anything else?
Understanding the benefit that you're gaining.
Understanding the benefit. Can you say appreciating the benefit? You should be okay. I like that. So there's a lot of ways to define it. You gotta hit them all. Interesting, the actual word for appreciation. So I pulled out, I can't remember, it's 18-something dictionary. When you homeschool, you have these dictionaries from 1800, which has the real meaning of the words, right? And so in that dictionary, it actually doesn't have anything to do with expressing gratitude. It actually has to do with increasing in value, mostly thinking about things that are tangible, increasing in value. But we've taken it to carry on to have meanings of expression of admiration, approval, gratitude, recognition, enjoyment of good qualities. That could be really recognizing. I think that's a good definition there. I like the Cambridge Dictionary. They said that really recognizing someone's worth as a person. I thought that was a pretty impactful definition. So as I thought about this, I can't remember when Mr. Brunberger asked me, I think it was probably a couple months ago, to come out. I started contemplating what I would talk about, and I said, what have I learned about appreciation? And the funny thing is, when do you start to get taught the context of appreciation? When in your life? Never. Okay, good. That's okay. Could be, but there actually is an answer.
Hopefully when you're young.
Yeah, so I kind of thought, there's like a book that said everything I ever needed to learn, I learned in kindergarten. It's actually not kindergarten. I realized that everything I needed to learn about appreciation, I learned as soon as I could walk. And that is me, so you can laugh. And black and white photos back then, so you can laugh more harder. There might have been color photography. I just think my parents didn't have one. So I actually think, when you think about it, it's potentially one of the first, it's you're parroting back, but it is one of the first things other than mama and dada that gets ingrained, which is please and thank you. And it usually comes out as and thank you, or whatever, but it's actually before you can even walk, right? It's one of the first things you try to do, and there's a good old board book. So it's actually, even before that sort of kindergarten, it's one of the first things we ingrain, but what happens over time?
Comes loose.
Yeah, it comes loose.
You become a teenager.
Look, I know some grumpy old men, so don't worry, it's not just a teenager. You become a teenager, yeah, that can happen.
You get used to what you have and you lose your appreciation.
Yeah, you get used to what you have, right? I'm gonna share something towards the end. Some things just become that you're used to what you have, right? So, let's see, it's in the afternoon, so everybody probably ate lunch, right? So I lost my dad last year, but for the last 3 years of my dad's life, he did not have taste buds due to radiation and things, and my dad loved food. And all the Hollies love food. And so I started, actually, when I would pray, not just to be thankful for the food, but because I realized that my dad loved food, 88 years old, and he can't taste it. And I said, no, thank you, Lord, that I can actually taste this right now, because I don't even think about it. Like, I just had Mexican on the break here, and I had it with a dear friend of mine that came down to visit while I was in the break here this afternoon. But like, I got to taste it. Now I get it, there's nutrition, right? Because my dad ate in the last 3 years of his life, but it was clearly for nutrition. I mean, because you should blend it up and drank it because it didn't matter what it was, because it didn't taste any different, right? So do you even think about that? So you get used to it. Who said that? You said get used to it, right? So that's what can happen over time. So what I want you to do is just spend, I don't figure out the right size that you really got here. We'll just do it in like 3 groups. I think that'll be good. So you 5, since they were picking on you, we'll put you in the 5 there. And about, we'll say you 6, the 465 guy, you'll be in the 6, and then you guys. And I just want you to spend a couple minutes, and then somebody will be a spokesperson on just ways to express. First, I just want you to break in and come up with ways to express appreciation. And get creative, right? There's no rules. I want to see what you come up with. I'm hoping to learn something.
Okay.
Ways to show appreciation.
Help them with something.
Yeah, there's physical and verbal. I mean, obviously.
If it is something for you, doing the same thing that.
Yeah.
You can.
And try to come up with like about a half a dozen ways, but you probably need a dozen to maybe not have duplicates.
So you can say something.
All right.
Okay, so what are some ways you do that throughout your day?
Gifts.
They're GIFs, I'm sorry.
Help.
Is that
Help. Like help.
I don't want to sit this close.
You're on more of a struggle bus than me.
Return.
I've been on a struggle bus this entire week. Don't at me, Paige.
A gift. I think just like open the doors.
You could write it in the sky.
If you really want to go over there.
just gonna say something extravagant?
No, write it in the sky. I want you to.
In parentheses. Parentheses. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
You took that from me. I know you did.
You-
You took that from me.
Did you literally just say right it in the sky?
I meant like have like the smoke.
Make scrapbooks, that's mine.
I guess that means it's her.
Chemtrails.
When someone does something nice for
To
you,
advertise to like
it usually
everyone
means
you
you're
see.
a good person.
She's
Speak more highly of them.
And your phone.
So increased reputation.
Yeah.
I thought you said blues too.
Yeah. Put in the good
Cease
word.
the means of
Bring them, bring them coffee.
Not kill
I
them.
had a whole thing for like
Business.
Yeah, show mercy.
What do you got?
I guess show mercy.
Depending on your position of power, you might
I'll
spare their
spare you
lives.
this one.
You know what, you can be read that one time, you're not going to the gulag that and setting aside
as a
time
network
to
refer them to another
Yeah.
partner of business.
Say something, yes.
Have you ever seen
She writes that down. She's like, what?
That sounds familiar.
Okay. I was gonna make a reference to
Oh,
showing
how do you
appreciation.
Specific.
I'm not a Lydia.
It is, it is, it is.
the thing.
You know what? You see something like, oh, it's like
And you,
so-and-so. What else?
you get closer.
Okay, never mind.
I guess I do speak highly of myself.
Yeah, just pretty basic though.
Invest more in the
I'm pretty sure basically that. Yeah, mostly their department.
invest more in the relationship.
Because being around you isn't a gift in and of itself.
Oh, thank you. I'd say
Well,
the same
you're a
thing.
gift.
Sorry,
You know,
sorry,
you say it all.
sorry.
I've been serious.
Trying to give to himself.
Skywriting.
I didn't know what else was on here, so.
What else
Just
you got?
because it's a gift doesn't mean it's a good gift.
Always a good gift.
That's true.
Because you need to be
Keep fine. Alright, so what else we got?
Fidget spinners.
Jack.
Do you use them?
I did. I don't anymore. I
Hot
have one
glue.
next to my bed.
Why did you have
What's your
eight?
definition of?
Hot glue and razor blades and fidget spinners.
It's a shirt.
I don't know. How well are
They don't really throw, you just sort of spin them.
And a power drill.
I don't know.
Can I have a new group?
That's not very appreciative. No.
That's the point.
No, I can't. The ones we said were so
Just.
overall.
Well, I mean, getting too specific is obviously too
Yeah,
specific.
Take out a nine.
because I want you to at least come up with a half a dozen. If you're the third
Take
group
out
to
a
speak,
nine.
you're sixth maybe done, so you gotta have 12 or.
Take
Yes, that's why we
Take out that.
I guarantee that.
Subscribe to PewDiePie for the
That's-
That's an ad.
Take out that.
Not support TCR.
Oh my god. This mathematical genius.
So.
Okay, anyways, let's knock out the.
Thinking of beyond just general appreciation, there's like smaller forms of appreciation, but we're kind of just generalizing.
Alright, let's keep going.
Like,
Appreciation, bare minimum.
you can come up with a generalization, you can have little
Don't put
subcategories,
Skywriting. Don't do that. Don't put
Categories
Skywriting.
then.
and then like, yeah, and then
Well, I guess for saying it, you can say make it with a plan.
true.
That was like a joke from like 3 minutes ago.
Right.
Like, it's good.
Your letter.
Yeah, like,
What did you say that?
Do you know those plays that thank you email for that
That's a
stuff
different
on the
thing.
letter?
That's just a,
I mean, the last letter.
a letter is more, I guess, it takes more effort, but
I would say I should
So
write.
a letter.
I mean, yeah,
A
that's
handwritten, something handwritten is obviously more meaningful.
I think you even show you don't have to get
It's okay, I'll give you money afterwards, I appreciate you being the spokesperson.
That's a good idea, Jake. Thanks.
that's honestly more employment.
If you want to show me appreciation, give me money.
I'm buying you flowers, John. You know why.
I will sell those flowers.
John, I'm also buying you flowers.
I will sell them.
It's the Bachelorette.
Buy the
Monet.
Moaning.
Write down just like general
Honestly, I
compliments.
think we're good.
Yeah.
I see the bachelor.
Whoever, spokespeople. Whoever does the spoken. Whoever does the spoken.
Can I be the spoken?
You can be the speaker.
That's where I heard
Oh, this for spoken.
You can get,
The notes.
I mean,
The speaking.
yeah, you can just get in a little more detail off the top of your head. That's what I always do.
I swear.
We'll see how that works out.
house, that's why. Just wake up in the middle of the night, like 3 in the morning, he's like downstairs getting water, he's like protecting me.
Pandora. Somebody turn you into the honest.
Standard.
Know what kind of shit.
Excuse
I'm
me?
weird.
That's terrifying.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
I appreciate you by wanting to know
I
your
literally just
exact
gave you a
whereabouts.
So like I appreciate Lydia. Sometimes like I will track her location to make sure she is like where she needs to be. I did that one time and it
Fire
actually helped
Festival 2020.
because then I get you a call.
doesn't even remember.
Thank you.
Oh, you're supposed to be working 5 minutes, aren't you?
No, I wasn't supposed
Well,
to be
if you're
right.
like,
I can't think of
Okay.
want to be yes person,
Well,
and you want to be
I'm-
appreciative of it, you want to spend time in
there are some things that kind of count as appreciation,
Oh.
or
Yeah.
I'm trying to like pinpoint it. Well, like,
It's just
it could just be under a category, like including that person in things, like
For work,
like
I show up,
I don't know.
I give my
It
time.
would show that you
my
appreciate
energy,
them.
how they
Like,
appreciate you.
I give
you appreciate their company
If it's a
for,
relationship, which I've never been
Yeah.
in, I would theoretically give time and energy to be with that
Social
person.
media.
So that one
I personally don't.
You're making
I know that's something.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, spending more time with them or listening to what they have to say, stuff like that shows you appreciate and care, and shows that they're valid.
Gender.
How about
Listen, that could say right there.
Care because you appreciate things.
Before the Clover.
You made it bad quickly. You made it bad.
No, I give you a good idea and you made it bad.
Just okay. Be creative and take what I did write it down. What are
See,
memorable?
thank you.
But I mean, like,
That's exactly right.
No,
So
I
my insurance
appreciate you.
company is giving me more money than I pay for the light. That's
Stop
pretty.
making it about money.
Hey, pretty cool. Are you okay?
Hey, appreciate
Good lady?
Caring about someone is a way to
You
say
got a few?
appreciation.
By that, I mean.
Yeah, like 20.
Do you have 20? Are you guys scouting through?
We probably.
Oh, yeah, we're
That was the most memorable.
Yeah.
I think it's
And it's skyrocketing.
Good. All right, let's get back together. We got a lot.
We've got a
I
lot.
use this to knock off one of the
I'm sitting back down.
Oh, yeah, you got it.
No, let's go first.
Thanks, buddy.
So, here's how we'll do it.
Can we go first when you're ready?
So yeah, so what I'm gonna do though, is I'm gonna actually pick one for a minute I thought I'd just let one group go and then just have you cross off, it's like the game's categories, you cross them off all yours, but I'll rotate around, so, but you could start.
Okay.
Let's see if we can get a good dozen or so. So give, each of you, sounds like you have a lot, so give me some of your best ones. Don't overthink it, because you'll get multiple chances.
You can speak into them or speak well of them.
Okay, so you speak into or well of them. Good. Lydia?
Oh, sorry. Maybe something you create like by hand, like a scrapbook or
Yeah, so make something
from scratch that took time, like 20
Yeah.
hours to make errands.
from scratch.
Handwritten notes.
Handwritten notes. All right.
Include them and spend more time with them.
Ah, yeah. Include. And just more time. Like that.
Showing candor.
Showing candor?
Yes.
Okay.
Ding, 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 ding. It's the buzzword. She said it.
Okay. So you have to get it in a certain number of times by Friday?
Just about.
Taking initiative.
Taking initiative. Where am I?
What?
Back to you guys.
Returning a favor they did for you.
Returning a favor. I'm gonna do shorthand.
Taking initiative to only focus on them.
So only focus on them. And then just use shorthand, so no,
Planning surprises.
playing surprises.
Yep.
Pick which one you like better?
Help them with something.
Okay, help somebody with somebody. Yeah, something.
Bringing them random things they enjoy throughout the day.
Throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Wait, Lydia, don't do this for me.
I'm sorry. I don't appreciate you, so.
Encouraging others.
Encouraging. Yeah. How often somebody can just use an encouraging word?
Does it have to be general or can be very specific?
Yeah, go for it. I'm hoping I come up with a couple good ideas. I got an office full of people and a house full of family. I might come up with a couple I can take home with me.
I have a good one for you.
All right.
Write their name in the sky with the plan.
We had that idea.
I told you that. Where's your plain peasants?
We had that too.
No, there was no rule. That's good. Which way am I going?
Tracking their location.
Stalk them?
It really, look, it really is. Okay.
to follow them. You know,
Vote for their candidacy?
AKA stalking.
Stop.
I'll give them a good show.
Yeah. I don't know if we're gonna do that. What?
We're gonna host a flash mob in their honor.
Host a flash mob in there. I like that.
Let's do it.
Sacrifice them?
Who is that? That was them. Basically,
I always thought it involved flagging.
I'll do one more each. So if
Yes.
you got your money one there.
Acknowledge, like verbally acknowledge what they did.
Verbally acknowledge. What they did.
Putting notes in random places throughout their day.
No
Key guy, all the notes are ready.
So after you stalk them,
gift them an all-expense paid trip to their dream location.
whoa! Whoa. You all want to spend any appreciation? Feel free to.
That's the last one now. That's a quality one. I appreciate it.
Call yourself Mason.
Nice. So anybody do you feel like you have one in there that you want to throw up from one of your groups? Still remaining, anybody, if you have one you want to throw in there?
Say thank you.
Oh.
Such a novel idea.
That's what I call unrestricted.
So you said throw up, and so my thought was, taking care of them when they're sick.
Yeah.
Or just
Care for them.
cleaning up their throw up,
Is inviting them over to hang out on there?
It could be.
Okay.
Look, I will tell you, interesting enough, it depends on the person, right? This surprise is not good for some people.
Yeah.
I know this will be recorded, so if my wife ever sees it. I want to do something for my wife. We have an anniversary coming up. She goes, honey, now, and before I finish the sentence, she goes, you know the answer, honey. I said, all right, I'll tell you. Because I was like, I'd love to do a big surprise. It's our 25th wedding anniversary. I was like, I can come up with something. And then she's like, honey. I was like, you're right. You don't like surprises. So for some people, not so good. But just having them hang out, for some people, they love that, right? So it just depends on the person. Hang out. Any others you want to throw out? There's a prize for the best one, so we got one hiding in there. Make sure it comes out.
Name a street after them.
Oh, yeah.
buy them a
In their
star.
honor.
I was this close to buying my dad a star.
Buy them land on the moon.
Erect a statue.
Get them a lordship on
What's that?
Buy
It's
buy their merch.
For them?
No, just buy their merch.
Maybe like,
Buy them what?
once in a lifetime.
Merch?
Oh,
Hey.
it's okay.
Appreciate so much.
Falls under gifts, Lydia. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
What?
Thank you on the lawn.
Depends how much they like their lawn. So like our co-founder Ray Over, he's really passionate about his lawn. If I burned it into his lawn, he would be mad at me.
a population of like 4.
Invest in their
Watch some YouTube
passions
videos.
by taking them to like places that they love going and things they love doing.
Yeah,
Buy their coffee.
that's a great one.
Or favorite chocolate. Come on.
Just get them all of the chocolate.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like there was a hint that was just dropped.
Maybe
Let me
there's
buy your
like,
next house for you.
maybe there's like
No,
once in
I
a
was-
lifetime type of thing where you appreciate someone so much that you like marry them or something.
Something gonna happen in this room that I don't know about.
Wow, what a novelization. He pulled out a ring.
Don't appreciate me that much.
Yeah. So, on this, let's just take one from each column here in a second. If it wasn't yours, pick one so not from your group, pick one in this column that was not from your group that you think's the best one.
Invest in their passion.
All right? Pick one more from somebody else in that group.
Make something.
Lydia, that was yours.
That wasn't yours. Yeah. I remember that. I don't remember everybody's, but I remember that was yours. Any other you like in that column?
Speak. Oh, that's ours.
Taking it, we vote for make something from scratch. We'll
What's
vote
that?
for it.
All right, there you go. Somebody else voted for it. What about in here?
Tracking your location.
Okay. One more.
No.
You're loud, doesn't mean you're right, Mason.
Well, I was first to speak, so.
Help them.
No, who's the flash mob? What are you
Yeah,
talking
all
about?
right. And then this column here.
Help them with something.
Ooh,
Name a street.
is that an H?
That was yours.
That was yours, boy.
Figure out.
Hang out.
Still sounds bad.
Hang out. One more.
Notes in random places.
That was your team.
That was also ours.
Can you not hear Lydia say
So
that?
good, you decided to suggest.
What?
I said, can't you hear Lydia saying that?
Okay, verbally acknowledge what they did.
No.
All
No
right.
one thinks we should say thank you anymore, so.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to say, I'm going to pass on the tracking because that's a little stalkish. So, pick between these. I want the whole group now just by raising your hands. Help somebody with something, make something from scratch, and verbally acknowledge them. Which one do you like the best? Who likes verbally acknowledge them the best? Just hands. Okay?
Are we allowed to vote for our own?
Yeah, you can vote for your own. Yeah,
Okay,
let's.
let's.
Make something from scratch.
We can't do it. We can't.
Help them with something. Okay, so who's
I had to.
specifically suggested
I'm not
help them
gonna
with
lie.
something? Help something with something. Who in your group said that?
No, that was
That was
us.
us.
You remember who did it?
I think we said it.
us.
We said it, yeah.
Might have been me.
Because it was the most general and it was John. Pretty sure, right?
No, you said it, and I
said it, but it was right.
I got a new one.
Yeah.
Let somebody else
John.
take credit for it.
This has been harder than I thought. So I'll let you guys figure it out.
Alright.
I got some of our good truth at workwear, and then what was the other one we selected? Make something from scratch. Whose was that?
It's Lydia.
Lydia's? All right. You got some of this stuff already. You worked it. So we got a rocket book, a pen, or coasters. You guys can pick whichever one you want. And then you guys got to fight out which had the
Rocket book!
Yeah, make sure you get
I just want to look at what is a rocket book?
You
What's
don't
a
know what
rocket book?
is?
No, what's a rocket book?
I'm actually cooler than you. No,
Definitely.
No, I was in a meeting and somebody told me that we were cool for having rocket books, and we don't often get.
Can I have it if I can tell you what it is?
Yeah, we often don't get told we're cool because we're like a bunch
Does
of old
anybody
guys.
here know what it is?
Is it one of those
Has to
things
be
you
open.
open?
You own it, we should
Yeah.
your phone.
It's
And
a
then copies
notebook
it?
that's not, it's,
And
you
then-
can write
right,
on
you
it
can
and
write, you
put
can
it on your
erase.
computer.
Right?
I want one so bad.
Wait,
Yeah,
did you
so-
love
Let me see this stuff.
It's a notebook that's not really a notebook. You just
Let me
don't
see
use
it.
them. You just transfer.
Yeah, we had somebody come tell us that we were cool, and we're like, wait, we're not even told we're cool. So, you can write on it. You have 5 things on the bottom. You can exit off and then blast it to whoever you want by just scanning it off your thing, and then it erases.
You
start
got
over,
it.
so.
You named it.
I'm buying one of these.
How much are they on
That's
Amazon?
Here's the good news.
You're like,
That's like it. And I saw the app thing on there.
All right. Good example. Let's
Great show of appreciation.
Actually, that wasn't even the intent. I just said, hey, I asked Colleen, can I have a couple cool things to bring? And I didn't even think about that.
That's pretty neat.
So, let's get back to it. So, let's think about,
They make
you
the
know,
shurikens if you sharpen the edges.
people, and think about it in your own life. and you might jot it down because there may be a purpose to this. So just think about it. It's not to share necessarily, but who's shown you appreciation? So this is Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong, first man to walk on the moon. Of course, there was 3 people there, but he's the one everybody knows because he's the guy that stepped on the moon. And my point in this is a thank you letter. Thank you letter that John Glenn wrote 25 years later, right? So this shows a couple of things. One is expressing appreciation to the people you might not have even met. And this was to the people that basically helped him get back and land safely on the moon. And basically, thank them. It was one of the widest things in U.S. history, but he just wanted to thank people for basically getting them back alive, right? It was pretty, if you think about the context of going out into space in basically a tinfoil can, it was pretty amazing. But 25 years later, he wrote a thank you note. 2 things there. One is just thanking all those people behind the scenes, right? Because it took thousands of people to get a man on the moon, but only one person is remembered. There's other people that are remembered, but there's only going to be one that ever is the first. And also kind of tells you it's never too late. And that's him 25 years later speaking at an event. But there's lots of opportunities. So I'm going to give you a few personal stories because this is something that is actually, again, there's no surprises, I think, in life when Ron approached me, because this is an area that's become just more attuned to. I'm more attuned to, and I don't think it has anything to do with age, but just people that have impacted my life. And so I just was going to give a few stories because this will relate to something we're going to do at the end that might jog thoughts of who you might express appreciation to. And again, really random and all recent. So greeter at my church. There's a guy, John, greets at our church, has greeted at our church for 15 years. And I just, for whatever reason, I said to Mac, I said, I'm going to write him a thank you note. I'm just going to write him a thank you note and hand it to him next Sunday. Because he sits there, he quietly does that. He kind of organizes. If people are lost when they walk in, he helps them. He's there. I don't know that he ever misses. He must, but I've never seen him miss. And he just quietly serves. And I think, why don't we thank him? Because he's always got a smile on his face, he hugs everybody, not in any position of leadership. My first manager. It just came up last week in a conversation that somebody's going to grad school, a young man in my life, and he's going to grad school at night, and he said, man, it's hard because I'm working full time, I'm going to grad school. I said, yeah, but don't give up. I said, my first manager I ever had, I wanted to quit every semester. I'm like, I'm working so many hours, the courses are hard at night. And every time I wanted to give up, and he said, don't give up, because if you graduate with your master's, I'll give you my car. And now he had an old car, and I had an old car too. And it really wasn't the car, it was really him encouraging me to say, do not give up. And I did graduate. I didn't really want his car, and he didn't give it to me, but it didn't matter. But I said, you know what, it's been 30 years since I've thought about that, and so I'm going to write Bill a thank you note. My first seed planter. So I came to know the Lord later in life as part of my story. It's 36. But when I was 20, there was a guy that kept sharing in his life and pouring his life into me. And so 2 weeks ago, I was prompted, and I sent him a text. And I said, Carlton, I just want you to know, I just want to think, who was the first seed ever planted? I've decided you were that first seed. I wanted nothing to do with what you wanted. I was having a good old time in college. I thought you were a nice guy, but I didn't want anything to do with what you were telling me. And I sent it to him. Interesting enough, what might you think of I gotten back from him? He did text me back right away. He said basically, you know what? At first I thought this was a coincidence, but there is no coincidence in God's economy. I'm